Every Formula One race looks like a battle of speed. But the real war is fought on 4 patches of rubber. Tyres decide legends, expose frauds, and turn champions into passengers. Pirelli's compounds promise grip or survival, never both. Today, we uncover the hidden art that makes tyre management the most ruthless game in F1. The battlefield begins with compounds. Pirelli's slick tyres range from the hardest C1 to the ultra-soft C6, each step a gamble between endurance and raw speed. 3 of these are chosen for every weekend, marked in white, yellow, and red for easy reading on track. Hard tyres thrive at abrasive circuits, running long stints but demanding patience to warm up. Softs grip instantly, ideal for qualifying and street tracks, yet they fade quickly under pressure. Mediums live in the middle ground, versatile enough to anchor most race strategies. Then comes rain. Intermediates clear 30 litres of water per second, while full wets slice through more than double that. Drivers wield them like weapons in storms, balancing survival against timing the switch back to slicks. Yet, even in perfect sunshine, tyres carry a hidden clock. Performance fades, grip disappears, and what looks like smooth rubber is actually fighting physics with every rotation. This is the quiet drama of tyre degradation. Every compound has an ideal temperature band, a sweet spot where rubber molecules grip the asphalt like glue. Push beyond it, and the surface overheats, turning greasy and unpredictable. In extreme heat, blisters form, where gas bubbles under the surface erupt and rip chunks away. The driver feels it instantly. Steering goes light, lap times collapse, and the tyre is scarred for the rest of its life. Too cold, and the opposite monster appears. The surface slides instead of biting, peeling itself into tiny rubber grains that stick across the tread. Suddenly, the car feels skittish, unwilling to turn. Engineers call it graining, and while those rough patches sometimes clean themselves off, the laps before that can be a survival act. Inside the tyre, another story unfolds. As the carcass heats, air pressure rises, ballooning the tyre and shrinking the contact patch. Less rubber on the road means more overheating, which circles back into more wear. It is a spiral every engineer fears. Teams set strict starting pressures, but once the lights go out, the driver's touch decides everything. Then comes abrasion. Corner after corner, the asphalt grinds away rubber, leaving marble scattered offline. A worn tyre can cool and stiffen, losing flexibility, which paradoxically makes it slide even more. Lock a brake, and you carve a flat spot, a scar that vibrates through the steering wheel, and sometimes ruins an entire strategy. Circuits and weather tilt the balance. Suzuka devours tyres with sweeping corners, while Monaco barely scuffs them. A 50-degree track surface can send compounds into meltdown, while a chilly day can trigger endless graining. This is why strategists obsess over degradation curves, plotting time loss lap by lap, and why drivers call out, "My rears are gone," on the radio. It is science wrapped in drama, dictating when to pit, when to attack, and when to simply survive. But the real battlefield is the strategy room, where engineers and analysts script the rhythm of a race before a single light goes out. Every weekend begins with simulations. Teams crunch endless laps of practice data to predict how long each compound will last and how fast it will fade. Some cars are famously gentle, stretching stints into territory rivals cannot touch. Others chew through rubber at alarming rates, forcing aggressive pit cycles. Choosing to start on mediums or hards can feel like choosing a weapon for battle, with every decision locking a driver into a specific storyline. The next weapon is timing. Undercuts and overcuts decide track position in seconds. Pit one lap early, and a driver on fresh tyres can leapfrog someone who was ahead. Stay out longer, and the overcut can reverse the script if the rival struggles to warm their tyres. The margins are razor thin. In 2023, cooler tyre blankets made out laps slower, flipping the undercut advantage in certain races and rewarding patience instead of aggression. Then there is chaos. A safety car drops into the race like a twist in a thriller, slashing pit stop loss in half. A driver who was trapped behind suddenly has a free pass to fresh tyres. Another, who pitted seconds before, sees their advantage vanish instantly. Red flags add yet another layer, handing teams tyre changes without a single second lost on track. These disruptions create races that no simulation can predict, and teams must improvise live with millions watching. Even qualifying feeds into the puzzle. Do you burn a fresh set in Q2 to secure a lap time, or save it for Sunday? In 2023's alternative tyre allocation tests, teams were forced onto hards in Q1, mediums in Q2, and softs in Q3. It looked orderly, yet it pushed strategy into unfamiliar directions, showing how even small tweaks can reshape the chessboard. And hovering over it all are the tyre blankets. Heated to 70 degrees Celsius, they are the bridge between simulation and reality. Get it right, and a driver attacks immediately. Get it wrong, and an undercut collapses before it even begins. Strategy in Formula One is never a straight plan. It is a living story, rewritten corner by corner. And once the lights go out, the pen is handed to the driver. Every movement of the wheel, every squeeze of the throttle, writes a new line in the life of the tyres. Smoothness is the hidden art. Arc through a corner too sharply, and the rubber scrubs away in frustration. Roll power gently, and the tyre breathes, lasting laps longer than the stopwatch suggests it should. Avoiding mistakes is just as important. A lockup burns a flat spot instantly, shaking the steering wheel for the rest of the stint. Too much throttle spins the rears, tearing away grip. The masters avoid both, always living at the edge without crossing it. Then comes the subtle theatre of lift and coast. Ease off early before a braking zone and let the car glide, sparing the brakes and lowering the heat bleeding into the tyres. It looks like surrender, but it is patience that pays dividends over distance. Short shifting carries the same wisdom. Change gear sooner than instinct demands, reduce the torque on the rears, and the tyres live to fight another lap. The difference is invisible to the eye, yet it builds over time until one driver still has rubber left when another runs out. Tyre preservation is discipline disguised as speed. The quickest laps are rarely the wildest. They are the calmest, the most measured, the ones that keep the tyre alive until the moment it must deliver. And history proves that certain drivers have elevated this balancing act into something almost mythical. Take Lewis Hamilton. Early in his career, he was all firepower, attacking every corner like it owed him time. But he evolved. By the mid-2000s, Hamilton had mastered the art of switching from full attack to careful conservation without the stopwatch catching him out. His radio lines, "These tyres are gone, man," became famous for the irony. Often, those supposedly finished tyres still carried him to fastest laps and improbable long stints. The 2020 Turkish Grand Prix was his masterpiece. 50 laps on worn intermediates that morphed into slicks, winning by half a minute. That victory sealed his 7th title, with bald tyres as the crown jewels. Then there is Sergio Perez, the tyre whisperer. His style is calm where others thrash. Gentle throttle, patient braking, exits without wheel spin, all of it designed to protect the rears. In his Sauber and Force India days, Perez turned midfield cars into podium contenders simply by stretching stints. He would sacrifice short-term pace for long-term track position, and it worked. At the 2020 Sakhir Grand Prix, starting last and winning, his middle stint on hards was the skeleton key. Baku has also been his hunting ground, where careful traction work has repeatedly kept him ahead of quicker rivals. Teams value Perez because he gives them flexibility, a one-stop when others need two, or the confidence to run contrarian strategies that only a master of rubber can execute. Fernando Alonso approaches tyres like a chess grandmaster. He saves his, then uses his rivals against them. The 2021 Hungarian Grand Prix showed it in raw form. 10 laps of brutal defense against Hamilton, Alonso positioning his Alpine so precisely that Lewis's tyres overheated in dirty air. By the time Hamilton broke free, his rubber was past its best, and Ocon was gone. Alonso's genius is forcing others to burn their tyres faster than he burns his own. He has admitted he sometimes slows the pace deliberately, trapping opponents in turbulence so their tyres melt. Few can blend preservation with psychological warfare quite like him. And then there are the new students of the craft. Lando Norris has grown from raw speed speed into a driver who can manage stints with the discipline of a veteran. Silverstone 2023 proved it. Hamilton was behind on fresher, softer tyres, yet Norris held him off on hards by keeping them alive lap after lap. He weaved, he balanced pace, he kept heat in the carcass, and he protected the position. That maturity shows how far he has come. Oscar Piastri, meanwhile, compressed years of learning into one season. Bahrain exposed his rookie fragility, but by Qatar, he was thriving in one of the most tyre-demanding races of the decade, winning the sprint and finishing on the podium in the Grand Prix. He has spoken about constantly adapting, some weekends fighting graining, others battling overheating, but always finding new tricks. That curiosity, combined with raw speed, suggests he will soon be counted among the masters. 4 drivers, 4 philosophies. Aggression reined in, patience weaponized, cunning deployed, and youth refined. Together, they prove that tyre management is not a gimmick. It is the hidden language of Formula One, and those who speak it fluently decide championships. That language changes depending on where you race and when. On some circuits, the asphalt is smooth like glass, letting tyres run forever. On others, it's sandpaper, tearing rubber apart in a dozen laps. Suzuka, Silverstone, Bahrain, each eats tyres in its own way. Heat pushes tyres past their limit, cold tears them before they're ready, and sudden clouds can flip the balance mid-race. Even the wind changes how much a tyre slides. Setup choices, camber, toe, suspension stiffness, decide whether rubber lasts or burns. External forces never rest, and the best adapt quickest. The same applies to the rules shaping the tyres themselves. In 2024, Tyres began carrying a new badge of honor, FSC Certified Natural Rubber. It's a small logo on the sidewall, but it signals a major shift in how Formula One sources and recycles every tyre. Each set used in a race now enters a circular loop, stripped, repurposed, or burned for energy with nothing wasted. The debate around tyre blankets revealed another turning point. A ban was once locked in for 2024, then 2025. Now it's gone, cancelled, so Pirelli can focus entirely on building compounds that resist overheating while still letting drivers push. Engineers and drivers alike knew that a cold tyre restart could trigger chaos, so F1 swerved towards safety and performance instead. And looming in 2026 is the big reset: lighter cars, slimmer tyres, and power units with a new punch of electric torque. The tyres will shrink by millimeters, but the strategic ripple will feel enormous. Smaller, faster, hotter, every lap will test the balance. Tyre management is the silent chess match of Formula One, where physics, strategy, and skill decide everything. Next time you watch a race, track the tyres as closely as the overtakes. Which driver today do you think is the smartest tyre whisperer? Drop your pick below and don't forget to like and subscribe.